They say driving at night clears your mind, but whoever said that never took a wrong turn in the middle of nowhere. It started like any other late-night drive, the kind I took when sleep refused to come and my thoughts were louder than the static on the radio. I'd left the house around 1:30 a.m., intending to cruise the back roads outside town for an hour or so before heading back. Just me, the hum of my old sedan, and the open road. The highway was dead. No cars, no lights, just the black ribbon of asphalt slicing through the countryside. I rolled down my window, letting the cold air slap my face. It helped for a while, but 20 minutes in, the radio fizzled out and my GPS glitched. It kept rerouting me with a scratchy robotic voice that stuttered and repeated itself. Turn left, 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 recalculating. Annoyed, I killed the GPS and decided to wing it. I'd driven these roads for years, or so I thought. I took a left onto a road I didn't recognize. No signs, no lane markings, just cracked pavement and looming trees on both sides. It felt wrong immediately, like the forest was leaning in too close, watching me. But I kept going. Curiosity, boredom, stubbornness, take your pick. After about 5 minutes, the road narrowed. The trees were denser here, gnarled and twisted, their branches arching overhead like claws. My headlights caught flashes of movement between the trunks, too fast to be anything solid. I told myself it was animals, deer, raccoons, nothing more. Then I saw her. A girl standing on the side of the road. I slammed the brakes and the car skidded slightly on the gravel. My heart thundered in my ears. She was just standing there in the ditch, barefoot, wearing a white nightgown that looked too thin for the chilly night. Her long black hair hid her face, and she didn't move, even as my headlights lit her up like a stage. I rolled down my window an inch. "Hey, are you okay?" No answer. She lifted her head just slightly. I saw her face, pale, smeared with something dark around her mouth and eyes. Not blood, not dirt, something else. Her lips moved, but I heard nothing. Then she screamed. The sound wasn't human. It didn't come from her throat. It filled the air, echoed inside my head like a siren. I jammed my foot on the gas and the car lurched forward. I didn't look back. I couldn't. But I heard her laughter as I drove away. Heart racing, I sped down the road trying to find any landmark, any sign of civilization. I checked my phone. No service. Of course. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Still nothing. No towns, no lights, no exits. And then the same girl was standing ahead of me again. I swear to you, I hadn't turned around, I hadn't doubled back, but there she was, in the same nightgown, in the same ditch, with the same face. I swerved around her and kept going, shouting curses into the empty car. My knuckles were white on the steering wheel. I drove faster, 60, 70, 80. Trees blurred by, still no sign of a turnoff. My gas light came on. Panic gripped me tighter than the cold ever could. Then, in the middle of the road, something, not the girl this time, a figure, a man, hunched over, crawling, dragging himself across the asphalt. I braked hard. The car fishtailed and stopped just short of hitting him. I jumped out, heart in my throat. "Sir, are you hurt?" He didn't respond. His face was scraped raw, chunks of flesh missing from his jaw and cheek. His eyes were milky, unfocused. And behind him, more figures emerged from the woods. 6, no, 7 of them, moving slowly, stiffly, like puppets. Their skin was pale and torn. They groaned softly, a chorus of broken voices. I got back in the car and floored it. I didn't stop for anything after that. Not when I saw a car parked sideways in the middle of the road with its doors flung open. Not when I passed what looked like an overturned school bus rusting in the trees. Not even when I heard a whispering voice come from my back seat. "You shouldn't have taken the turn." I didn't look. I couldn't. I just screamed and kept driving. Finally, I saw lights ahead. Street lights, civilization. The road widened and smoothed out. My phone buzzed back to life. I nearly wept. I pulled into a gas station, stumbling out of the car, shaky and pale. The cashier inside gave me a strange look as I babbled about what had happened. He listened quietly, then said something that chilled me more than anything else. "There's no road like that out here." "What?" "The one you're describing, narrow, no markings, surrounded by woods? No such road around here, at least not anymore." "What do you mean, not anymore?" He hesitated. "There was a road like that, used to be an old route back in the 60s, but it got shut down after a bunch of people went missing. Whole families. Cars found abandoned. Locals said the place was cursed. They tore it up, blocked the entrances. It's been gone for decades." I looked back toward the direction I came from. The road was gone, just a field stretching into the trees. I don't know what I drove that night. I don't know how I got out. But I haven't driven at night since. And sometimes, just sometimes, I still hear that voice in my back seat, whispering, "You shouldn't have taken the turn." I've spent years on the road, long nights, endless highways, and the humming lullaby of the engine to keep me company. Driving alone never bothered me, until one night changed everything. It was just after midnight. I was returning from a delivery job, driving west on a stretch of highway I knew like the back of my hand. Exit 47, my usual off-ramp, was about 10 minutes ahead. Fog had begun to roll in, thick and slow, like it was crawling out of the trees. The air felt heavy, and my headlights barely reached 10 feet ahead. I was tired, sure, but something about that fog, it felt wrong. It wasn't just the thickness, it was the way it moved, sliding and twisting across the road like it had a mind of its own. As I approached the exit, I slowed down, flicked my blinker on, and leaned toward the windshield. That's when I saw it. A massive construction barrier across the ramp, flashing orange lights, a sign that read, "Exit closed, road work ahead." I blanked. That couldn't be right. I had taken this exit last week. There had been no construction, nothing even planned. I checked the GPS. It was frozen, just a blue dot stuck in place. I had no choice. I kept going, assuming I could get off at the next exit. But the next exit never came. 10 minutes turned into 20, then 30. The highway stretched on forever. No signs, no lights, just fog and trees and the endless hum of asphalt under my tires. No cars passed me in either direction. My phone had no signal, and the radio hissed with static. I started to feel like I wasn't moving at all, like the road was looping beneath me, an illusion of progress. Then I saw a car, parked on the side of the road, hazard lights blinking. I slowed down as I approached, an old black sedan, windows fogged, driver's door slightly open. I rolled down my window and called out, "Hey, you okay?" No answer. I pulled over a few feet ahead and got out, grabbing my flashlight. The air was ice cold, and I could hear something, barely, a faint tapping sound, like fingers on glass. As I crept toward the car, I felt it. A pressure, like something watching me. The flashlight flickered, then died. "Damn batteries," I muttered and reached for my phone. Still dead. I leaned closer to the car window, wiped the fog, and there she was. A woman sitting in the driver's seat. Pale skin, eyes wide open, mouth agape in a silent scream. Her hands were pressed against the steering wheel, locked in place. Her face, her eyes looked right at me, but didn't move. I stumbled back, heart racing. "Ma'am?" I whispered, knowing full well she wasn't alive. Then I noticed the frost. Not on the outside, but the inside of the car windows, like she had been frozen there. I ran back to my truck, locked the doors, and sped off. But here's the thing. I didn't see the car in my rearview mirror. It vanished, like it was never there. My hands shook as I gripped the wheel. The road still stretched endlessly forward. No towns, no exits, just trees and fog. Then I saw the sign. Exit 47, 1 mile ahead. What? I'd passed that exit an hour ago, and it was closed. I didn't care anymore. I needed off that road. As I approached, I saw the same barricade, same flashing lights, but this time, no sign. I slowed. There was just enough space to squeeze through on the shoulder. I did it. Tires crunching over gravel, I slipped past the barricade and onto the ramp. It curved sharply, winding downward into thicker fog. My headlights dimmed. The trees grew denser. I turned down the radio. It was hissing again, like breathing. Then the engine sputtered. Come on, not now. It died completely. I sat there, in the middle of the ramp, surrounded by silence. That's when I heard the footsteps. Soft, slow, scraping along the pavement. I looked in the mirror. Nothing. Then a hand pressed against my driver's window. White, frozen, fingers blue and stiff. I turned my head. No one was there. Then I saw it, in the reflection of the rear-view mirror. Dozens of them, pale figures standing behind the truck, motionless, watching. Their mouths opened in unison, but no sound came out. I slammed the key in the ignition. Click, click, click. They stepped closer. Click. The engine roared to life. I hit the gas and tore down the ramp. The fog parted just enough to show me a road ahead. I didn't care where it led. I just needed away from that place. I don't remember how long I drove. Maybe minutes, maybe hours. Eventually, I saw streetlights, civilization, a gas station. I pulled in and stumbled out, panting. The attendant stared at me like I was insane. "You okay, man?" I nodded. "Where am I?" He looked confused. "Right off exit 47. Been here all night." I turned around. The ramp behind me was wide open. No barricades, no fog, no figures. To this day, I don't drive at night. Not after midnight. Not near exit 47. Because sometimes, when I'm driving alone, I still see the reflection in the mirror and the frost creeping up the window. They always say, don't stop for strangers on the side of the road. I used to agree, until the night I broke the rule. It was close to 2 a.m. I was driving back from a friend's cabin deep in the mountains. The road was long, empty, and twisting. No lights, no gas stations, just trees pressing in on both sides, and the occasional animal darting into the beams of my headlights. The weird part was, I kept seeing someone walking on the shoulder. I noticed him about 20 minutes into the drive. A man wearing a dark coat, head down, walking along the side of the road. He had no flashlight, no reflective gear, just walking, slowly, with a slight limp. I passed him. Strange, sure, but not that unusual. Maybe his car broke down. But 10 minutes later, I saw him again. Same coat, same limp, same walk. This time, he turned his head slightly toward me as I passed. I couldn't see his face clearly, but the angle of it was off. Like his head didn't turn normally. It twisted too far, too smoothly, like he didn't have bones in his neck. I shook it off. You're tired, I told myself. Just tired. The road dipped into a low valley where the fog settled in thick, crawling across the pavement. I turned up the heat and leaned forward, trying to see better. That's when I saw him a third time. Standing still now, on the shoulder, facing the road. As I approached, he stepped toward my lane. I swerved hard and slammed the brakes. My car screeched and came to a stop just past where he had been. I looked in the rearview mirror. He wasn't there. My heart was hammering. I sat there for a full minute, trying to breathe. I should have driven off, but part of me needed to know if I had hit him. So, against every instinct, I got out of the car. The cold hit me like a wall. The fog was so thick I could barely see the taillights behind me. I walked slowly, calling out, "Hello? Are you okay?" Nothing. Just the sound of my own footsteps on wet pavement. I turned on my phone's flashlight and swept it across the road. No blood, no sign of a person, just empty woods and cold air. But then I heard it. Footsteps. Not mine. Behind me. I spun around. No one. Then I heard a whisper right behind my ear. "You shouldn't have stopped." I dropped my phone. The flashlight flickered as it hit the ground. I didn't pick it up. I just ran back to the car, slammed the door, locked it, and hit the gas. As I sped down the highway, I didn't look back. I didn't stop. I didn't even breathe until I reached a gas station 20 miles later. I told the clerk what happened. He gave me a weird look. "You said you saw a guy walking on the shoulder?" "Yeah," I said. "Black coat, limp, pale, creepy as hell." His face went pale. "You're the third person to tell me that this month." I stared at him. "He died on that road back in '92, the clerk continued. "Car crash. No one stopped to help him. People say he appears to drivers, tries to stop them. If you get out, sometimes he follows you home." I laughed nervously. "That's just a story, right?" He didn't laugh. I drove home in silence. It's been 3 nights since then, and every night I hear footsteps outside my house, slow, limping. I don't look out the window, because I know what I'll see. I always like driving at night. Roads are quiet, the air is cool, and the darkness feels like a blanket wrapping around the world. But that was before that night, before I learned that not everything on the highway belongs to this world. It started like any other drive. I had left my friend's house a bit late, maybe around 1:30 a.m., and I was taking the back roads home, the kind that twists through fields and forests. No lights, just me, my car, and the static hum of the radio. The signal kept cutting in and out, like it always does out there. I didn't think much of it until I heard something strange. Through the static, a voice whispered, "You shouldn't be here." I froze. It wasn't the DJ, it wasn't a song, it was a flat, cold voice, like someone was sitting in the back seat, speaking directly into my ear. I glanced in the rearview mirror. No one. I switched off the radio. Dead silence. but the feeling remained, like I was being watched. I kept driving, rushing it off. Maybe a weird ad or interference. Maybe I was just tired. Then the temperature inside the car dropped. I turned off the AC. Still cold. The windows fogged slightly, even though the night was dry. That's when I saw the car. An old, rusted sedan parked on the side of the road, hazard lights blinking. I slowed down, trying to see inside. Maybe someone needed help? As I passed slowly, I saw the driver's door was wide open. No one was inside. But in the passenger seat, there was a radio. Just a radio, old, cracked, but it was on, crackling softly. I stared at it as I passed, and as I did, the same voice came through my own car's speakers again. Turn back. I slammed the brakes. I sat there for a second, heart racing. I hadn't turned the radio back on. It was off. I checked. It was definitely off.
But the voice had been there. I looked in the mirror again. The sedan was gone. The road behind me was empty. I started driving again, faster this time, hands tight on the wheel. Then I saw them, figures, standing along the side of the road. At first, I thought they were signs or trees, but no, they were people, pale, still, facing the road, not moving. Every few hundred feet, another figure, all staring at me. I didn't stop. I didn't slow down. Then the radio turned itself on again. Music this time, but not modern music. It sounded old, like something from the 1930s. A woman's voice, singing, slow and scratchy, like a warped vinyl record playing too slow. The lyrics chilled me to the bone. He drives alone, but not for long. They always ride when the road goes wrong. I hit the power button. The radio stayed on. I yanked the cord from the console. Nothing. The music kept playing. Then I heard a thud from the trunk. Something had hit it or was inside it. I don't know what possessed me, but I pulled over. The music cut off instantly. Silence. The engine was still running. Headlights pointed into nothing. Fields on both sides. I stepped out slowly. The air was ice. Not just cold, unnatural cold, like walking into a freezer. I walked to the back, stared at the trunk. Another thud. Something inside shifted. I reached for the keys, ready to unlock it. Then I heard the voice again. Not from the radio this time, from behind me. It's too late now. I spun around. No one. But I could see something in the fog. Dozens of people walking toward me from the fields. Silent, expressionless, pale. I ran to the driver's side, jumped in, slammed the door, locked it, and floored the gas. I didn't stop until I reached the main road. As soon as I saw streetlights, the radio shut off. The warmth returned. Everything felt normal again. When I got home, I checked the trunk. It was empty, but the inside was wet, as if something had been inside. And on the fabric lining, drawn with a finger, were the words, "You heard us." I don't drive at night anymore, and I never, ever turn on the radio past midnight.